A central piece of treating mental and physical pain is just acknowledging its existence. It's invisible, but it's all too real. Congressman Adam Smith writes about his own pain in the new memoir, Lost and Broken, My Journey Back from Chronic Pain and Crippling Anxiety. The longtime congressman from Washington State joins us tonight. Congressman, members of Congress are important. You look powerful. You won. But in 2016, you found yourself feeling powerless, feeling just this mental and physical pain. What happened?
Yeah, well, first of all, I thank you for having me on. Appreciate it. And I think all people are powerful. I think that's part of the message for dealing with our mental outlook on the world. But yes, you're in a position of influence as a member of Congress. And what happened to me was sort of a lifetime battle with very high stress levels that crossed over into anxiety. And in my younger days, there was some depression. And then I had a combination of knee, back, and hip pain that gave me chronic pain. And so I had to try to dig my way out of that, working our way through the healthcare system to find help from psychiatrists or psychologists, and then also help with the chronic pain. And it was a very difficult journey to find that help. Eventually I did. It was about a 6-year battle the last time before I started to turn the corner and get better. But as your report showed, as I've discovered, millions of people suffer from anxiety, depression, chronic pain, or some combination of those things. And I want to be part of raising the profile of that discussion about the problem, how we encourage people to confront it, and to find solutions, because solutions exist. And that's my big message. It may seem like they don't. It certainly did to me for a number of years, but they're out there, and we need to help people find them.
And you went in search for your own. I read you spent 6 years. You went to 100 healthcare providers. And yeah, a lot of everyday Americans, they feel like they need to convince the doctor. They don't want to sound like they're too bad off, but they also want to convince them it's not just in their head. I heard Ross Douthat talking about that from the New York Times. He had like chronic Lyme disease. We see a lot of women with autoimmune issues in midlife, the chronic fatigues or chronic pain or fibromyalgia, saying, I'm not crazy. Did you feel self-conscious about how you looked?
Absolutely. No, I mean, and part of it is certainly professionally. I'm in a public job, and I was pretty confident that if people knew how bad off I was, I'd be out of a job. But also just everyday interactions with people, with your friends, with your family. You don't want them to think of you as weak. As struggling. So yes, part of the battle is to understand that you have to admit where you're at. And then the other part of the battle, which you allude to in talking about how doctors interact with this, getting a proper diagnosis for either mental health or chronic pain is a huge challenge. And this is one of the things that I really think we need to change in our healthcare system, and that is to emphasize primary care better, that sort of initial treatment. What is really wrong with you? To have a healthcare professional who will listen to you in detail. Few of them do, because time is money for them. They don't get paid any more if they see you for 2 hours than if they see you for 5 minutes in most cases. We don't have a good diagnosis to give you that initial opportunity, because it's hard. It's not, you walk in there, oh, it's your knee, it's your hip, oh, you have anxiety. It takes time to understand the patient you're dealing with. And our healthcare system usually doesn't give us that time. Certainly didn't in my case. It was very difficult.
Time is money. And I usually don't ask congressmen personal questions. It's usually about policy. But if I can get personal, you did just write a memoir about this. This is a primary concern for Americans. If they need to see a psychologist and a psychiatrist and get a CT scan, you went to 100 appointments, and it could be affected by legislation. How'd you afford all this?
Yeah, well, first of all, it was difficult. I mean, it definitely did stretch the budget, because the other aspect of this, I have decent insurance. It's not as good as insurance as most people assume, but it's decent. I have coverage. But a lot of the providers that I sought didn't take insurance, certainly in the mental health field. I think I finally did find a psychologist who both knew what he was doing and helped me and did take insurance, but a lot of it was out of pocket. And yes, it was a struggle to cover that. And also, as I was trying to find the solutions, I found this particularly true actually on the chronic pain side as I went to physical therapists, and everybody's got a theory about how the body works. You know, I went to myofascial release people, there's the Bowen method, there's all manner of different things. None of it's covered by insurance. So I'm going to these people and thinking, if they have the answer, then I'll pay the $200 a session. But I don't know if they have the answer. So do I want to pay that much money to not get helped? And I paid a lot of money to not get helped. So we definitely need greater clarity and also better insurance.
Yeah, and they always say, come back next week. You know, it's not coming out of their pocket. I think we just lost the congressman, but that's a great place to wrap it, because really in the book, he talks about how this can inform his approach to legislating and really connecting with policy, constituents. It's a people issue. The book is called Lost and Broken, but it's his journey back from chronic pain and crippling anxiety. We thank the congressman for that. Coming up here.